Mr. Speaker. Well, I appreciated so much the comments of my friend, Mr. Russell, neighbor from adjoining state. He's right. The American people have made clear they did not want the TPA passed. They certainly don't want the TAA passed. How ironic that we're told the TPA passage will create massive number of jobs, and yet people that have really looked at it on the Democratic side say, this is going to cost a lot of jobs, so we got to have more unemployment benefits, more government help for people that are going to lose their job, which is what the TAA basically does, or we can't vote for the TPA. Well, how ironic. And how ironic that President Obama seems to have worked harder on this bill than he has about anything since Obamacare. He's come to the Hill, came to the baseball game. He's really pushing people to join him. It's rather ironic because it's just hard to believe that he would be working this hard to limit his own powers. He's never done that before. He's never worked to limit his own powers. And it also strikes me as a bit interesting that some of the same people that push so hard to pass TARP, the Wall Street bailout, are also pushing for this. There was a former FDIC chairman named Isaacs that came to the Hill with the support of many economists saying, please don't get into this socialist activity where you partner, government partners with private business. Don't do that, and certainly not for $700 billion. There's no justification. But look, we probably got more than that, clearly have more than that American individuals, American businesses have overseas in banks they'll never bring into the United States. They've already paid a massive amount of tax on it overseas. A far better free market approach would be just pass a bill and say, you want to shore up any asset or any entity, like Goldman Sachs could have saved Lehman Brothers, AIG, Chrysler, GM. You could have saved any of them if you just say, bring that money in from overseas, no tax. And we could have made it very attractive to do that. And then we wouldn't have had to give the government $700 billion with basically no limits on how the Secretary of Treasury could spend his money. He couldn't prop up a central bank of a foreign government. But I read the bill. I couldn't believe we were going to give that kind of power to one person. We have not done that since the Constitution passed. And it also should be noted, I think, that if we had not passed that $700 billion Wall Street bailout, that giveaway, then President Obama would never have gotten $900 billion. He would never have been able to push so much more for bigger government and gotten it. We would have been able to stand stronger against that, which could have prevented Obamacare from even coming up or passing. It had terribly damaging effects. Some of the same people that wanted TARP are now wanting TPA, TAA. It's a bad idea. And I want to just finish, Mr. Speaker, by noting that we have the Supreme Court taking up an issue, supposedly going to come out with an opinion before the end of the month, ruling on a case involving same-sex marriage. The Constitution nor the Bill of Rights, neither one provides any power for the federal government to get involved in the issue of marriage. That's always been a state issue. It should be under the 10th Amendment. And yet we have the Supreme Court potentially going to weigh in and take over that power. We also know that the law is very clear. 28 U.S. Code 4, Section 455 says any justice, judge, or magistrate judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceeding in which his impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Well, two justices have made clear how they feel. They participated in same-sex marriage. If they do not disqualify themselves and they rule on this case, they have shown a total contempt for the law. That should lead to impeachment. But America would have to rise up to make that known. But we will see here in the 800th year anniversary of the Magna Carta, when it was made clear nobody, not even the king, is above the law. If the Supreme Court will say 800 years later, we're the Supreme Court, we're above the law, and there's nothing you can do about it. I hope and pray they are not that arrogant in trying to bring down this constitutional republic, and we will see. I yield back.
Gentleman's time's expired.